Hey Taurus, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Page of Swords and the Chariot. Okay, what this means is that if you're going through something right now that there's some type of, we could see it as being challenging, somewhere where a strategy is sort of needed to move through it. Having Page of Swords there, what we see is that openness is going to be helpful. Observation is going to be helpful. Asking questions, researching. So that means looking around too, sort of checking in and using the resources that you have available to you, or maybe finding more. This is an air connected energy, and so it can be having conversations that will be helpful, but I definitely see the page as not assuming that you know something, and also being ready to find things out, because this can be a time where there's stuff going on that needs to be figured out, and so being open to learning and observing, that's really going to be the key to moving through this. That is what you'll find. That is how you will get through this. It's the best strategy. Okay, I'm seeing the Star, I am seeing Judgment, Seven of Pentacles, I think some objectivity can be helpful, just to zoom out, because seeing Aquarius here, this can mean that, like, really having a bird's eye view as you are looking at what you're looking at can be helpful. I think more from a, even, I kind of get this checking in to make sure that what you have going on feels like it's really true for you. That can be the basis with which you want to, the lens you want to look at this from. Seven of Pentacles feels like what you have going on right now, like something that is currently in the process of going on that you have, that you are tending to. Having the Star and having Judgment is, I want to make sure that I'm looking at this through the most honest lens possible, the most authentic lens possible, because of having Aquarius here too. And some objectivity can be helpful, because Aquarius is seen as being able to have that objectivity there. And so kind of seeing all sides of things, so you can properly assess this for yourself. Which can take some time. I'm seeing Temperance. I think you're still figuring some stuff out for you regarding how you're feeling. Like, this is something that you're still learning to tune into, learning more about yourself, understanding more about yourself. And the more that you're looking at the stuff that you have going on, feels like making sure that that feels real for you, making sure that that feels like it is true for you, like it honors yourself. I feel too like there's a taking time with yourself as well. Like a truthfulness. Part of what can be difficult about this that's sort of coming to mind here, like seeing that mix of, for some of you I'm hearing Gemini, seeing that mix of the Aquarian energy and the Cancerian energy, having the Queen of Cups here. This can be pulling things apart that need to be pulled apart, making sure that you're knowing the difference. When we have Queen of Cups, the difference between like your energy and your feelings and your preferences versus the feelings and opinions, preferences, energy of others when it comes to this. And that feeling important. Like you're getting to know yourself better. And I also feel like there is a separation that's happening so you can really see clearly your own energy. And making sure that you're not taking on something that is not true to your energy and mistaking that. So when it comes to what you have going on currently, what you're involved in currently, something about this is very important for the process. And it feels like this is something that's gaining a bit of traction, like you're learning how to work with yourself in this way. And I really feel like working with yourself and not other people's energy disguised as yours. This feels like getting to the bottom of like your own energy here, and that being important. To make sure too that when you're making choices or figuring things out, it's based off of how you actually feel. Because that's also part of this too. And observing enough to know what that is. This looks like there's direction that's connected with this, about sort of where you're moving to. So that can be part of what you're getting more information about. So you're going somewhere that you want to be going here. This looks like kind of a going into a bit of an unknown, going in the direction of an unknown. I feel too like you're getting to the bottom of why you feel upset about something here too, but it may have not been obvious initially. And there's also something that's being healed. Something being healed that's connected with your path, connected with what you currently have going on. What you want, your expectations. I think your expectations versus maybe ones that aren't yours too. There's definitely emotional exploring that's happening here. Something being broken down. Getting to the bottom of how you are feeling. Disappointed about something closing out, but then also I'm seeing that a releasing is going to be happening. And I also feel like this is moving you closer in the direction of what is an opportunity now, what is tangible now, presently. Okay, so you're in the process of completing a chapter right now, and I'm seeing a new chapter is going to be beginning. This looks like a fresh new chapter that's happening. I feel like there's a lot of connection with yourself that's happening here. That you can feel like you're more ready to sort of be one with yourself and to connect with yourself and be in tune with yourself. You can feel like there's more love here, more compassion, more understanding. Feel like a chapter where you're allowing love in, where you're allowing connection in, and a lot of that has to do with your relationship with yourself. Gaining an understanding of what you need to understand in order to move forward. As you're gaining this understanding, it feels like it's very much going to allow you to move through whatever blocks and barriers you're facing that don't allow you to move forward in the way that needs to be moved forward. Now, what is this that you're exploring that you feel like or haven't realized yet? What is it that needs to be looked at in order for you to move forward? I'm seeing the Moon, I'm seeing Five of Cups, and I'm seeing the Death card. So this feels like unexplored, undiscovered, psychological and emotional stuff that you're going into. Also, too, having that Five of Cups, this can be stuff that has not been rectified. This can be stuff that has happened that you have not come to terms with. And this can be stuff that doesn't allow the transition to happen yet because it hasn't been accepted. Once things are accepted, the integration can happen and then moving forward from there. But if we're still not accepting what has taken place because it feels too painful, like I don't want to admit to that, I don't want that to be the reality, when there is still that forcing, wanting something to be other than it is, it doesn't allow for the transformation to fully take place. And then we stay sort of in that liminal space of didn't get what I wanted, but still haven't let go of it, and then not moving forward because I'm still in that place because I still haven't admitted that what I wanted didn't happen, what I expected didn't happen. And so there's like a closer look that's being taken at this. It kind of feels like an emotion that's stuck, that hasn't been integrated, that you're going back into to take a look at and say like, hey, we need to break you up here, but the only way you're going to be able to break that up and allow it to move into the next thing that it's meant to is, I think, really like putting a name on it, understanding it, breaking it down. And there definitely needs to be a recognition of this too. This can be stopping you from fully connecting with yourself, and this can also be stopping you from fully connecting with others as well. This can be something like a creative block you're experiencing, an emotional block, an energetic block that you're experiencing, mental health block. I kind of get this imagery of you being on the lookout, almost like there's something that I don't know and I need to find that out. And I'm seeing this have to do with that, like, what's a word for it? It's like a free radical, but I'm seeing it be like an emotional, energetic thing that you could have. The way that it's like, so like I'm seeing what's going on here and I'm feeling what's going on here and I'm tuned into what's going on here, but in order to like translate this and articulate it, what's happening, it feels so tricky to fully like grasp and put into words. It's like the best way that I can describe this is stuck energy, that it feels like it was not realized that the energy was stuck, and then something wasn't happening because that energy was still stuck. It's like you have to flip all of the cards over to move to the next level of something, and what you didn't realize is that like one of the cards is still not flipped over. And so you have to like go back there, find which one is not flipped over. You have to flip it over, which translates to there's something emotionally, energetically that you have to sort of go back to and then do what you need to do to process it. And then everything will move forward from there. It's just like that one thing that you don't get the green light with yet. But as soon as that little thing is taken over, everything can move forward. It's like we can say, like, there's one thing that's wrong with the car. There's one thing that needs to be addressed with the car, one thing that needs to happen with the car, one thing that needs to be processed with the car. And then once that thing is dealt with, the car will move. And you can be like, I looked at everything, and you could have thought that something would move more automatically or should have shifted more automatically, but you have to manually go back in and do this thing, and then it will move forward. But the thought could have been that this was something that automatically would have happened, and it didn't. So you have to manually go back, do the thing, and then everything works smoothly from there. And like, what is this thing that you manually need to go back and connect with? It's the Five of Cups. What does that mean? The Five of Cups is about something that has happened that there still hasn't been an accepting of that. There's still a resistance to accepting the reality of that. Something connected with this. And it feels like it's in the process of something else that is going on. Like you've been in the midst of a cycle. Something happened during that process. It's like one of the events that happened during the process that you need to go back to and check on because it's still stuck and it needs to be manually addressed. But it feels like it's kind of hidden. It feels like one of those things that you don't know is there because like it was assumed that like if something were working properly, it would have done what it needed to. And you end up having to go back and again, like do something manually. But it feels like it's kind of a tricky situation to go back and like this can be something that was sort of like covered up or something that hadn't fully emerged yet. And so you didn't realize it was like still a problem or like not allowing things to move forward. Because I don't want to be dismissive and call like the Five of Cups a problem. It's just something that is holding up the process from moving forward. And it's something that holds a lot of value in relation to your process because it has a message. And so it's like a message that needs to be read regarding things, and then you can move forward. And I think that this is something that can be blocking your faith and blocking your hope a little bit too in the process that you're in currently. I wonder if this is something that like has disconnected you a bit. So that is something that can be going on here that you can be experiencing. Do you want to come down here? Okay. So that's something that you can be processing, that you can be experiencing. But I'm seeing that you're going to figure it out. It's just like the thing that you weren't seeing, needing to see that, needing to be open to. Because if you're not open to, I think, looking around and finding this, because it almost looks like a bit of a search that you have to go on to. Here, you want to come down here? It almost looks to me like a search that you have to go on to go and find this. Hi. And then once you do, you're going to see what you weren't seeing before. Like realize what you weren't realizing before. And then when that happens, it's like everything moves then. Everything is able to shift forward then. And I feel too like stuff that had not come up is then going to come up. I do feel like this is some kind of intricate, energetic work that you're doing. And it's going to allow for the sort of like turnover that you want here. Okay, so for some of you, I wonder if this was some type of this could be something that you were in the process of investing in, like something that you had been participating in, something that you'd been giving your energy to, and then before you saw it fully come to fruition could have ended. I feel like this is a key about what this was and what this is connected to, what this is related to. It's like something that you've been investing in with the like assumption, with the expectation that if I water this, it's gonna grow and then I'm gonna get fruit. And like it was growing, like stuff was happening, but then before the fruit could be there, like before you could sort of enjoy what came to fruition, it feels like something happened and it feels like boom, over, done with. So this can, let's like talk about this. This can be like, maybe you're in the middle of a relationship or something, and then all of a sudden you get broken up with. It can be something like that. This feels kind of abrupt the way that it was, where there would be an expectation here, and it makes sense. Like, normally it feels like it would be accurate to project and to expect that if you're taking care of something like a plant, an energetic plant, okay, that it is going to produce fruit, and then you will be able to enjoy that. This feels like something stopped short of what the normal expectations would be. And so you could have thought that you like accepted that, but then I'm seeing there was still a not moving forward, but it feels like it happened really subtly. And I feel like some type of like loss was connected with this, but in reality this cycle was finished. Like you weren't meant to be in it anymore. It feels kind of like you're in school, okay, and you think that the class is going to go for 10 months, and it's like you went through 6 out of the 10 months, and then it came to an end, and so you were meant to go to the next sort of grade after that, but then because of that happening, it sort of like being confusing, it being abrupt, it also feels irregular the way that this came to an end. It's like you can see Seven of Pentacles as anything that you would have been nurturing with the expectation that something would come to fruition from it. So it can be like a project you were in the middle of doing, like a canvas that you were in the middle of painting this picture, and then like the canvas gets like lit on fire, and then there's no more of it. Like that's done. Like you can't bring the canvas back to life then. Like whatever this was, it feels like it ended what you would see as being premature. Even in the grand scheme of things, it's not premature, like cosmically it's not, but as far as your expectations, and I think like the norm of how something like this would go, you would have thought that this would keep going. But abruptly, and it does feel abnormally, came to an end. So it's like a short stop. And then it feels like that was never fully processed. That's what this is connected with. And because this hasn't been fully processed, there hasn't been a full moving into that next cycle yet, but it feels like it was unknown before that this wasn't fully processed. It feels almost like you may still like unconsciously be like almost waiting around for what you deem as being closure to that end of the cycle, but like not, I feel like this wasn't being realized before. And that's basically like what's being worked on. It's like the ending and the coming to terms with this is what you are getting closer to. I think to see this as a completion rather than something stopped and that wasn't supposed to happen, and because in my head that wasn't supposed to happen, there's still a resistance to accepting what that was that had happened. And it feels like it's keeping this next chapter it's keeping you from stepping into this next chapter fully, and that's what's been happening. So you can feel like you're still in that in-between. When like the light is green, but the car isn't working, like the car isn't going, and it's just this thing that needs to go back and you need to go back to, and this needs to be dealt with. I do feel like this is like an abnormal, like it feels very specific to your life type of thing. Like this may be something that maybe other people like never experienced. This just happened to be part of your experience. It feels very specific to you as an individual. And it does feel like some type of like abnormal circumstance or like this unexpected sort of outcome that had happened. And that's what the holdup has been. And this is still something that has not been integrated, and there's a need to go back. And I think really come to terms and allow yourself to feel the feelings. Like feel the feelings as you would if you accepted what had actually happened and not still be like waiting for something to happen that never will. Like, I feel like the best way to describe this is that, like, let's say the canvas like lit on fire, right? And so you're never going to finish that specific picture on that specific canvas. It feels like there's still a resistance to, I think, like psychologically, energetically admitting that that thing like burst into flames and is not coming back to life because of being like so not wanting that to happen, and also not expecting that to happen because it's abnormal for that to happen. And so I feel like there was never a full accepting, mourning, letting go process. But again, this feels like it's really like an unconscious type of energy that you're now coming around and bringing light to this, like bringing awareness to this, so that it can fully be released, so that this can fully be surrendered. And then like immediately the next chapter can start, but this needs to be completed first. And that is going to allow movement within the energy. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.